Good morning, you guys. I've already been up and at it. Already went and got my blood drawn, and I'll talk about that a little bit later. Had my coffee on the go. Welcome to my channel. My name is Aretha. So today we're going to be doing a little bit of cooking and prepping. I did not do any cooking yesterday, so I'm going to be doing it all today, and it's not going to be a whole lot. Like I said, I've been noticing there's been a lot of leftovers, so I'm trying to avoid all of that. So I'm going to get right into it, and I'm going to figure out what I'm having for breakfast, and then get back with you guys. See you in a bit. Okay, here is my meal. It is now noon or something like that. So this is the cauliflower with the dirty rice seasoning and some ground beef. And I have my coffee, which I didn't finish off. I'll be finishing it. So I'm just gonna eat my meal and maybe have a little bit of a conversation with everyone. I have been having some struggles, but I will probably go more into that a little bit later. But what I did want to touch upon is I do have a concern for our younger generation and the little kids that are coming up, and the obesity rate that we are faced with. And I'm not here to point fingers or say, oh, you're doing wrong or any of that. This is all just my opinion. And what I will say is I think my generation and people that are a few years younger were the ones that were the cereal and TV dinner kids, if you will. That where cereal was more mainstream, and that's what you were eating a lot of the time for breakfast, and you were having the TV dinners, and there was fast food. And so I think that kind of set a course for the generation after us. When we had our kids, I will say this, I have never seen so many young girls struggling with fertility issues and PCOS. It's almost like an epidemic. And I can't help but think, well, I didn't feed my body all that well, and I got pregnant, and here's my kids now. My daughter isn't struggling with that issue, but I know a lot of people in her age group are struggling with those issues. And I can't help but think, well, it goes back to what we're putting in our bodies. So we got to be really cognizant of what is promoted and what is actually healthy. And then too, there's that struggle of, we know what is healthy, but we just don't have the willpower to do it or the want to do it. And some, just be honest, don't care, just don't really even care about it. But I want to, see even the little kids. We seeing obesity in these little kids, like 3, 4, 5, 6, 7, 8-year-olds. It's terrible. And just think about what you're feeding these young kids. If you have kids that age, grandkids or nieces or nephews, to think about what we're actually putting in their mouths, and how a lot of them know McDonald's and Burger King and all of that, and don't even know how their ABCs and 1, 2, 3s. And what we're actually giving them and what they think is normal food, healthy food. And then when they eat actual healthy food and fresh food, they're turned off by it because they've been conditioned to eat a lot of fast food, a lot of the cereals, and a lot of junk. So I would hope that the people, actually the ones that are doing keto, and a lot of people say they don't feed their family keto or their kids, you don't have to necessarily feed your kids keto, but they can be somewhat low carb, because to be quite honest, they don't need all of that. They're going to still grow and be healthy. Had I known what I know now with my kids, and they're, my oldest being over 30, and he was really sick as a child, very, very sick. I would have been feeding my family low carb, and my son would have been dairy free, given the issues that he had, as a young child, but I didn't know any better. And when you know better, you do better. And some people don't want to know any better, because then they're forced to have to do better. And then if they don't do better, then it's always that internal struggle with them going on. So, I want everyone to think about what we're feeding these little babies, making them think that all this fast food and all this cereal is the way to go. I challenge you to give them a really healthy meal and see how much of it they will eat, opposed to all the fast food and junk that they would probably scarf down or inhale in less than a second. So I'm going to eat this, and that was just kind of my thought, what I was thinking about today and everything. So I'm going to check back in, and we're going to talk about what I've cooked. See you then. Good morning, happy Saturday. I'm in my car, as you can tell. We are, sorry if I don't really look at you, we're headed to the doctor, and we're going to be getting some blood work done. So I decided I would talk to you a little bit while I drive. So I'm going to be giving you some real talk right now. Yesterday I had a doctor's appointment, and it was to take care of some things that I should have been taken care of a long time ago. So I talked with my doctor. I'm going to be getting some counseling. I'm going to be getting some help around also with my eating behavior. I'm getting some blood work done so she can see where all my vitamin levels are and hormones and all that good stuff. So that's where we're headed today. I couldn't do it yesterday because I had already eaten and drank stuff. So, and they want it done on an empty stomach, fasting. So the past few days have not been all that great for me. I'm just going to be real. I have had, okay, right here, I don't want to trigger anyone, so you can fast forward a little bit. I have had some binging episodes. I'm not going to say what I binged on. I don't want that to be a trigger, but it was not good. And normally when that happens, sometimes I feel it coming on and I know what the triggers are, but this kind of happened out of the blue, and to me that's a little bit scary. Not that it hasn't ever happened out of the blue before, but for the past while, I'm going to say at least 4 or 5 months, it's been under control. It was even under control when on my birthday when I was in New Orleans. There were no binges. So it's been past time for me to get this taken care of and look at my mental health, because I've been on my channel a long time talking about, when it's dreary and there's no sun, I'm depressed, I don't feel all that great, I have anxiety. I've always had, to a degree, an unhealthy relationship with food. So hence I had the gastric bypass 2013. So when you have those things, if you don't take care of the mental is way more important. That is what determines if you're going to be successful or not. So and to a degree, I've been really pretty good successful with the bypass. I'm not, the almost 250 what I was at my heaviest. So, but I'm not where I want to be. I know there are still issues that I need to address, and that's what I'm doing. I finally bit that bullet and went to the doctor and had a very long conversation with her, and I got quite a few appointments. So I told you about me probably seeing a counselor, and then dealing with the eating part with maybe a dietitian, or and who knows what that might come of that. So I've also get my blood work done. I need to I'm getting scheduled for my mammogram. Happy birthday to me, colonoscopy. You turn 50, you get your colonoscopy. But I've already had colonoscopies before. I don't think I've ever talked about this on my channel, but in my mid-20s, I had a non-cancerous tumor in my intestine that had to be surgically removed. So after that surgery, for the first year, every 6 months, I had to have a colonoscopy just to, to be checked. So, and I haven't had one since. Things have been fine. Cross my finger. So I got all those things scheduled. So there's a lot of appointments coming up for me. And right around the corner on the 15th, my wife will be having surgery. So I just feel like there's a lot of things, and when I started thinking about it, I felt a little overwhelmed, just slightly overwhelmed with things, but I'm just going to take it day by day. So this section of my video will come towards the end, but in the beginning, you guys will probably see me cooking and all of that. This will be the last what I will be ending the video with. But I'm going to see where all this takes me. The goal for me is I don't want to be overly medicated. Medication, if I'm in dire need of it, if I have to have it, especially things like anxiety and depression medication. I have to truly need it, and then I will probably get a second opinion. So we will see. Today's a pretty good day. I feel okay mentally, except for being slightly overwhelmed with things that's going to be coming up and I'm still dealing with. So, and I'm headed, like I said, to get the blood work done. But I will be checking in a little bit later, you guys. Okay, I want to show you a book I have, and I am anxious to try some things out of here, the dairy-free keto. And it has a nice little, I was looking at the back of it, just going through some of the recipes. Well, not really going through it, but kind of just looking through the book. And it has some pretty good stuff. It even has a Monte Cristo sandwich that, yeah, and lobster tail, fried oyster, shrimp stir fry, baked salmon, buffalo mac and cheese. So I'm excited for this little book to try some of the recipes out of it. But what I cooked today, my old standby as usual. This is just an egg dish with sausage in it and some bacon. And the main seasoning, because as always, why is that color? A lot of turmeric and nutritional yeast. And some cauliflower bake. Now this has cheese in it. And if you hear sizzling, because I'm cooking some bacon. And I'm going to get ready and pull together my second meal. So I'll be right back with you guys. Okay, my next meal is bacon, and a little bit of cauliflower under there, stir fried in some bacon fat with some bell peppers and onions. So that is actually going to conclude my full day of eating. I'm so glad you guys stopped by. So don't forget to like, subscribe, and share. And I will be back with another full day of eating. Thank you guys so much. You're awesome.